Hey, everybody, it's Kristen Dokas, and you are listening to Conversations on the Rocks, the show that is as random as me. Right now, be glad that you're not me, because the voice in my head is me, because there's something weird going on with my microphone. Luckily, you're not hearing two of me, because no one needs that ish. I am super excited to welcome my good friend Geralyn Kelly. And you know how they say that dogs are humans' best friends? I'm not going to say man's best friend, because they're everybody's best friend.
True.
Geralyn Kelly is dog's best friend. And she has a fantastic business here locally called Elite Canine. And two of my pups are proud graduates. Can't say they might be able to go into the alumni class, but if I'm doing the stuff, they do listen. Loose leash works much better when Kristen's doing it than when Steve's doing it, because Baxton knows that we don't pull because Mom will stand there.
Mm-hmm.
What Geralyn is very well known for is what is known as positive reinforcement and force-free training. So instead of me echoing myself through this, Geralyn, why don't you tell everybody exactly what that is and how it differs from other forms of training for our fur babies?
Sure. So I have always been a positive reinforcement force-free trainer since day one, going into my 23rd year as a dog trainer. And I've never thought about ever using anything other than this method. So I train using a clicker. When I first started out, the clicker was not part of training, but we used what's called a marker, and that's what your clicker ends up being. And it basically tells your dog, yes, I asked you to do something, and that's exactly what I wanted you to do. So I'm going to give you a click, or you can use a verbal. A lot of times in class, you'll hear me click and then go, yes, because I'm conditioned from the beginning stages of my training to say yes. So then it's followed by, you are such a good dog, and a reward. So it's basically reward-based training with no aversive methods whatsoever. I show them what I want them to do as opposed to force them into what I want them to do. So you have your force-free trainers, and then you have what's referred to now as a balanced trainer, which is just and I'm, me, Kristen, I'm brutally honest.
And that's why we love you.
Yeah, it's just a fancy word for, and the trainers usually say, I do what I think the dog needs. And that is shock collars, which they are now referred to as e-collars, trying to hide the fact that it's a shock collar. Choke chains, which do nothing but that, choke, and your fancy prong collars. And this is more of a fear and intimidation form of training. And it suppresses a behavior. Always people say to me, when I use my prong collar, my dog walks great. Okay, but what happens when you don't use your prong collar? So suppressing a behavior and teaching a behavior are two completely different things.
Sure.
You're not fixing the bad behavior. You're teaching the dog to avoid this aversive method, whether it be a shock, a pinch on their neck, or the fact that they can't breathe, as opposed to saying, I'm going to take the time and teach you how to do it properly.
And I'm going to interject something real quick, something I didn't say. One of the best parts about Geralyn's company is her logo, or her motto is training for both sides of the leash.
Yes.
Because humans need to be trained.
And it's me basically training the humans. And the level of patience that people have is honestly nowhere close to the patience that I have. And I know it's frustrating to have a puppy. I totally get that. But when I look at a dog, whether it's my own dog, or it's a puppy in my class, or it's a 10-year-old rescue that somebody's brought to me, I could never look at that little face and even consider pressing a button that's going to shock them.
Right.
I don't raise my voice at my dogs. I don't yell at them. I have never smacked one or spanked one or whatever you want to label it as. If Colt is not doing something that I want him to do, because I didn't teach you. If your child does something bad, you're not going to shock them.
Well,
maybe some people, but so it's the same thing. And it's very rare that people ask me, why do you choose this method? And this is what I always say. This is my little story. So for everybody who wonders why I don't use shock collars, this is a perfect story for it. So you've just started a brand new job. It's Monday morning, 9 a.m. You're rip-roaring and ready to go. You're so excited about your new job. And your boss comes in and he says, oh, welcome to the company. Here's your first project. I want this on my desk by Friday. And along with that paperwork is every step to doing that project. Every single step. Mr. Bill. Oh, okay, there you go, buddy. He just brought me as Mr. Bill. And every step is right there. So all week long, you're so excited. You can't wait to show your boss this project because you know you're doing it great. Friday comes, you walk into his office, you put the project down. It's perfect. And he says, this is fantastic. Good job. I'm going to give you a raise. That's your reward for doing such a good job. And then next Monday comes and you're excited again. Oh my God, I got a raise last time. And here comes that same boss, but he's not happy anymore. And he just throws the project down on the desk and says, do it. But it's a different project and you've got no instructions on how to do it. Friday comes, you've been struggling all week. You bring him the report, you're terrified. And he looks at the report and he shocks you in the face. You ought to do the report. But instead, he throws a shock collar in your face. So, you're a human. You didn't know how to do this. Imagine a dog who doesn't even speak English.
right.
Not knowing what sit is or loose leash walking, or that they have to come to you when you call them. Was that a little dramatic? It was. But pressing a button and shocking your own dog is beyond inhumane.
Yeah, but humans need to have that parallel, right?
Sure.
They need to, they can't, they just go, this is the fastest way. It's just a dog. Which
Instant
pisses me
gratification.
off. If it's just a dog, then why'd you get it?
And it's instant gratification. That's what people are looking for. That's where those shock collars and those prong collars come in. When you bring a dog into your home, and I don't care where that dog came from. You rescued it. You found it on the side of the road. You got it from a breeder. I don't care where it came from. When you brought that dog into your home, you made a promise to that dog that I'm going to keep you happy and healthy. That's what training is part of. So you have a dog that goes to the bathroom in the house all the time. You're going to throw it outside. You have a dog that eats your furniture. You're going to get rid of it. You have a dog that jumps and knocks your friends over. You're going to crate it all the time. That's not the dog's fault.
Right.
So for me, when I look at a dog, that's what I see. I see a creature that, number one, doesn't speak our language, and number two, needs direction. Plain and simple. I need to communicate to this dog what I want from them, what I want them to do, as opposed to constantly saying, don't do that. Cut that out. Oh, no, bad dog, stop doing this. Okay, they're looking to you to say, okay, what am I supposed to be doing? And that's where I come in. So I want every person to have a beautifully trained dog. Is that reality? No, it's not reality. But when my students come to my class, I tell them flat out, it's your job to teach them the rules. And if they make a mistake, it's your fault. Plain and simple. It's your fault. You haven't taken the time, then they're not going to learn.
No.
Plain and simple.
And, I had a problem child. He wasn't a problem child, but, he's spat and surprised and come up here. But, he's dateable, lovable dirt that just, and you have to, and he's doing so well. And especially now that he's starting to get a little older, I can see that some of that. But you would think everybody that walks through this front door is his new best friend. And
there's nothing wrong with that. I love when they're social. I love that because the alternative is not good.
Absolutely.
But it's the control. That's what they need to learn. They just need to learn to control themselves. I never want to break that spirit. I never want to shut a dog down. That's never my goal. And I want those people who have that opposite, the dog that's terrified of the world. I want them to come to me because I can help that. I don't want that dog to be terrified. I don't want Baxter to knock somebody over, but I never want him to lose that fun, happy, I love everybody side. So you have to find that common ground where everybody has to be a part of the training. So when you have people come over, you've been to my house, Colt is excitable, the couch, because nobody's shoving him off, and I'm in the living room in the kitchen making felt for everybody. He will take advantage of it as well behaved as he is.
Absolutely.
But am I going to get mad and kick him? Am I going to get mad and throw him in the backyard? No. He's so adorable. Hey, come up here, son.
And if you aren't watching this, you need to go to the YouTube because you would get to see a dog right now. You get to see Colt,
Scary.
and Mr. Bill.
And he's got his Mr. Bill.
Hold on. Let me take a picture of. Hold on. Here we go.
Wait, hold on. I lost my screen. There we go.
There you go. Hold on. 5, 4.
Colt. Oh, he turned at the last second. Did you get it?
I don't know.
I can send you a picture of him.
Oh, yes, I did.
Oh, almost.
All right. I'm going to download.
Okay, good.
Okay, cool. So if you're
And again,
not
I
you.
have a very difficult breed.
Yeah.
What? I have a very difficult breed. What? Sorry. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, and myself.
Oh, I'm on a delay again. Yeah, it's on a delay again. Okay. Anyway, I have a difficult breed. Samoyeds are not easy to train. They're extremely destructive. They're loud. They're stubborn. But I really lucked out with Colt. He's a great dog. Where those of you who know me know Nanook, he was an awful puppy. A fall. I miss him every day. But he was awful. But they are the most wonderful creatures. When you think about all of the things that they do in the world for humans without asking for anything in return, nothing in return. So when I'm training one of them and they've done something good, I'm going to give them a reward. I'm going to give them that cookie. Am I a cookie pusher? Some people call me a cookie pusher, and that's okay. Because you know what? At some point, there's no more cookies. There's no more cookies. You're doing it because they do it because you took the time and you trained them to do it. But if you went to work all week and didn't get a paycheck, you're going to go back to work.
No.
So when they're young, a little incentive is not a big deal.
Question. Speaking of, is there ever a point where they're too old to train?
No. Never.
So the whole you can't teach an old dog new tricks is complete myth, everybody.
Yes. So I have had 11-year-olds in class. I had Madison who, God, I loved her. She was so cute and little. She's gone now. But she came to me. She's a little Maltipoo. She came to me at 11. I trained her, and she was on the therapy team for 4 years before she retired and passed away. So they're never too old. And remember that I get a lot of rescues. So I do get older dogs, and sometimes they're awesome. But most of the time they have baggage. Yeah, and that's okay. I am an obedience trainer. I don't do behavioral training. I have my friend Jennifer. I send everybody to her. But if I have a dog that people say, oh, they're a bad barker. Okay, I have things to make them quiet. We know that. Or they know all of this stuff, but they can't walk on a leash. Okay, then you don't have to do my beginner class. I'm not going to make you do the beginner class. You move up a level. So sometimes they do have some training. And of course, if they're at Forsyth, those techs, those kennel techs, train them while they're there. Sometimes even like the alumni that I get in class, they already know how to sit. They already know how to lay down. They do get some training. And then they have Farah. Oh my God, Farah, I want to squeeze her till she pops. She already knew everything. She was a rescue, but she knew everything already. And then sometimes I get dogs that I had as puppies that have been surrendered and rehomed.
Aww.
And they come back to me. I'm like, I already know you. And they already know everything. So they're just smart. And it really irks me when people are like, oh, my dog's so dumb. No, they're not dumb. You just haven't taken the time out to train them. Do some learn faster than others? Of course they do. But that doesn't mean they all can't learn. People need to be patient with them. They're dogs. And again, you bring them in your home, you have to be patient with them. They don't know the rules. They don't know, oh, my dog went to the bathroom on the floor because he was mad. No, your dog went to the bathroom on the floor because you didn't take him out. Or my dog ate my remote control because he was mad I went on a day trip and didn't take him with me. No, he ate that controller because you left it on the table. And your dog wasn't crated, and they eat things in your home.
Out of curiosity, why? We'll use the remote control. I'm knocking on wood right now. I have never, ever had that happen. Do you think it's something other than you left it out, right? Because I leave those things out, and my dog don't even pay attention to it.
It's just the dog. I have a switch with the remote, with the controller, and my remote control for the TV right next to it, and it's always been there, and no one has ever decided to touch it. Some dogs just look for trouble. Colt loves his toys. Colt's never. He carries my socks around sometimes. He never eats them, but he's never taken anything that didn't belong to him.
Interesting.
He really is. I can't say enough good things about this dog. It's unreal. Nanook, not so much. So when we had Nanook, the remote control was never out when he was younger. When he was older, yeah. But that dog ate $600 in cash.
Oh,
he
my
shredded
God.
all my checkbooks. I remember the little folders I used to give you with the paper in it and all the little Blue Buffalo handouts. I made 45 of those, and he destroyed all of them. So where was I? This was me testing him to see if he could be out of his crate when I wasn't home.
Right.
And the longest I was gone was 23 minutes.
So he was
some
an
dogs just have
opportunist,
that
is what you're saying.
He was, most definitely. And then I can leave an open pack of uncooked bacon on the floor in the kitchen, and Cole would never even think to come near it.
That's crazy.
So they're all different. You have dogs that love to eat mulch, and then you have dogs that couldn't care less about mulch. You think all dogs love to eat mulch, but some. And then you have some dogs that never chew. Remember Foster?
Yeah.
Foster never chewed on anything that he couldn't digest. Colt and Nanook are all about their antlers and their benny bones and, this plastic stuff. Where Foster was like, I can't eat that.
Yeah, Josie's not a big fan of anything. We'll buy toys, one for her and one for Baxton, and we go, that'll be Josie's for 30 seconds, because as soon as Baxton turns around or Josie turns her back, Baxton has it, but he's my chewer.
Right.
And I had just, I discovered, I know you don't have kids, but do you remember those little Fisher-Price educational toys that were like the ball and you stuck the shapes in it? You remember those, right? So when Mackenzie was, I don't know, a year old, we were out of town and had left the pieces, the star and the triangles and the square, right? And the worst pain in my entire life, even beyond childbirth, was walking into the room and planting on that. I have recently discovered the 50-year-old version of that are those damn horns.
Benny bone. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Nyla bone, the Benny bone, they all hurt. They're like Legos for dogs. Oh, yeah. That's why every night all of Colt's toys get put away. Because I'm not going to step on them in the middle of the night if I have to come out to the living room. Sure, welcome here.
I can always tell when Baxton's been in there and he's left one, because then all of a sudden there's a string of profanities coming out of my mouth.
Period.
There, again, if you're not watching, you're missing out on the big white fur ball.
Face, don't you want to squeeze it? Oh my God, he's so cute.
Such a cutie. So have you ever had a student that you absolutely could not pass, was a 100% fail? You don't have to tell their name.
So I don't have a human dog student. It would be the human. The human would be the failure. And yes. Yeah, it's not as much since I opened Elite Canine. At PetSmart, when can I say that?
You can say whatever you want to, sis.
Yeah. At PetSmart, when I worked there, I had a lot of that. The dog could go through all 6 classes and not even learn how to sit. And people would say to me, and even now they'll say to me, sure, what is it really? They paid you. Well, so what's the big deal? It's a big deal. The big deal is that it's not like they wasted your time. It wasn't free. That's not what it's about. It's about the dog. You know what I mean? But on a flip side, it is about me. Because you see that dog at Tanglewood acting like a total idiot, and someone says to you, hey, have you ever thought about training? And they say, oh yeah, we went to training at Elite Canine. And here's this dog that can't even sit. That's a reflection on me.
Absolutely.
It technically is a reflection on them because of all the thousands of students I had and have. There's a handful that maybe have come out and not really learned. But I've changed a lot over the years. I used to really tiptoe on eggshells with my client. I'm not nice. I'm always very nice. But sometimes I will talk with a bit of an edge when I get excuses. They do everything for me at home. I get that. They should be doing everything for you at home. But when I come here, they don't do anything. Okay? But they do it for you. Of course they do. I'm the cookie lady. I have a pocket full of treats and I never tell them they're a bad dog. They love me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I'm always gushing over them. I'm always rubbing them. I never get upset with them. Of course they love me. They're going to do anything for me. But you need to have that in your home. Okay. Now they're doing everything for me at home, but when I take them places. So from day one, I always say the same thing. Dogs don't generalize. This is one of the very first things that I learned when I became a dog trainer. They do not generalize, which means they're going to be great for you at home. But you take them to Lowe's, and they're going to act like an ass. You take them to Academy Sports, you take them to a brewery, they're not going to behave there unless you take them there and, excuse my cat, unless you take them there and train with them. Yeah, he sits on the back of my stool.
Geralyn, buddy, you're so...
What's up, Kiki?
Does bloom. Is he the cutest? There's a gremlin in your house.
Yeah.
Protectors.
Pete. Kiki. No, he's going to get down. Okay. He sits on the back of my shoulders when I'm working.
Penny
he's very
does
leechy.
that. One of my twins does that. Yeah.
You have to take them out. You have to go to strange places with them. They need to... Socialization, a lot of people are like, oh, I need to socialize my dog. Do you have a dog I can work with? It's not just about the dog. It's about people, places, sounds, the floor, the noises. The other night at Lowe's, a forklift came right through my class. And the lady with the flags at Lowe's and the beeping. And all of my students were like, so, just watching them go by. And the lady was like, they don't even care. I'm like, no, they do not. They don't care. Why? Because we're at Lowe's, and that's what their families have done. They've taken them out and practiced, and now they know that's not a scary noise. Or the grate downtown that I have to walk across is not a scary thing on the ground. Or the creaking of the Mass General Store's floor is not something I need to be afraid of. It's all to have a fully well-rounded dog. You do have to take them out. You have to take them out of the house. And I do get, which always annoys me, the vets that will tell them they have to be fully inoculated before they should go to class. And by that time, they're 4.5 months old. And you've missed a huge window of socialization there. And I understand the concern, don't get me wrong. But I'm not going to put anybody's dog in danger. I want them to start at 10 weeks.
Right.
I want them to start right fresh. Look at all these puppies. Look at all these dogs that are going to love you. And these people who are going to want to touch you. And look at this new place. At 4.5 months old, that window may have closed already. And now you've got a dog that's afraid. Or a dog that's never met another dog. And if they're a big enough breed, they don't come into puppy class. So they don't get that socialization. So it really does start right from puppyhood and up. And when you don't get them as a puppy, you start them with those noises, with those different places and the sights and the sounds and the new people. But you have to do it where your dog's having fun. They have to be having fun. So to answer your original question, my training methods are fun. They're fun. We have a great time. Everybody's happy. They're excited to come back to class, including the humans. And I try to make it someplace where you want to be, as opposed to, I have dog training tonight. the instructor's so boring and the class sucks. Oh no, I'm a laugh a minute. I have so many jokes, it's not even funny. So I want you to want to come back, and I want your dogs to enjoy themselves just like they do at home.
And they do. At least mine did.
Yeah. Force-free training is training with love, your rewards, your clickers. Balanced training is training with aversive methods like fear and intimidation. It's the best way to describe it.
Is there any difference? And I know there is, but I want to hear your professional opinion on it. Speaking of training, the way you train and the way professional dogs are trained. So our little canine officers, I mean,
okay.
Luckily I never went through with getting a German Shepherd. As much as I think they're cool, I don't have the discipline to do the training.
So,
and like you told me, the thing that you told me that really set me back was they need a job.
They do.
And I see
any herding
that.
dog needs a job.
And I see that.
Any shepherd.
And chasing the cats ain't a job.
One of my all-time favorite breeds. But they need exercise. They need to be entertained. Super smart. And believe it or not, in 2024, they took over the poodle spot as the #1 smartest dog in the world. The poodle has been the smartest dog in the world for as long as I can remember. It is now the German Shepherd. But when you have a brilliant dog like that, their mind has to be kept busy. And they're too smart for their own good sometimes, too, so you have to keep an eye on them. But canine training has come a long way. It's much different now in a lot of places than it used to be. They used to use like a Schutzen training, which is very rough. They would kick the dogs and punch anything somebody they're trying to apprehend they would encounter. This is what they would do. Do you really have to go that bad? Okay, hold on. Be right back. Or I'll still talk. And so it was a very brutal sort of training. It was definitely something that I could never watch. I have had people send me canine training videos that I just didn't watch because I couldn't stomach it. And I want to say that I understood why, but I don't. I don't understand why. But now, a lot of canine training is now done with positive reinforcement. You don't have those shock collars on. Sometimes you'll see prong collars. A lot of times you'll see choke chains. But for the most part, especially here in Forsyth, I work very closely with the Forsyth Sheriff's Department. I do a lot of stuff with them. Yeah. And their dogs, they're so awesome. They're their dogs. This officer, this is his dog.
Yeah.
It's not just his partner.
Yeah.
They go home with them. They live with them when they retire. They go home and live with them for $1. I think they buy them for $1 from the Sheriff's Department. The training might not be super positive reinforcement, but it's way more than it used to be in the past. And training is still around. It's just not as popular as it used to be because now 17 countries have banned prong and shock collars.
Nice.
So they can't use those methods anymore, or they go to jail. But yeah, met all the canines over at the Sheriff's Department. They're all sweet. They love kids. You've got the SRO over at West, who is a lab. So they're not all German Shepherds anymore. And then you have Bane, who's huge. He's one of the biggest German Shepherds I've ever met. And he'll lick the skin off your face.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. But if they're called out, I wouldn't want to meet them in a dark alley.
Absolutely not. No. Because from what I understand, Dan, now it's my turn to walk away for half a second because somebody's getting ready to hold on, everybody. The nice thing is Eugene can edit all that stuff out. Somebody just came home and somebody's very excited that somebody just came home. One of the newer canines, and I can't believe I'm blanking on their name, but I really can believe that since I'm postmenopausal. The one that is not bombs. Is it the bomb sniffing dog? Anyways, they send them away for the truly personalized. So the handler and the dog go away for a couple of months, a month or whatever to get some really intense training.
And the sniffing dog, the bomb sniffing, he's a gun sniffer, the new guy.
Yes.
The bomb sniffer.
Yes.
Coda. I think it's Coda. Bomb sniffing, the drugs, the guns, all that stuff is done with a clicker. So when they go from box to box and they have to think of the word.
See? It's not just me.
I don't want to say notify. Alert. Thank you. When they alert that, hey, the gun's in this box, they get a click and a reward. It's the same sort of training that I do. It's almost like on the lines of like diabetic alert training. The diabetic dogs smell the breath and say, oh my God, their sugar's off. It's the same thing. So all of those nose work, all that nose work is done with positive reinforcement. The world is changing slowly, but again, we do have people that want to send their dogs away to get trained, and they don't know what's happening when they're gone. Not that every board and train is bad, but there's that woman in Raleigh who killed those dogs.
And for me, it's just your whole premise, I think, is the right premise, which is if you send your dog off for 2 weeks, and I have had friends that have done that, and I go, but what about you?
And sometimes the dog comes back and is completely shut down. Yeah, so I know people they do say to me, please take my dog home. No, it'll be okay. You'll be able to do it. I already trained my own dogs. I'm not bringing yours home too, but the board and trains, I've never been a fan for that exact reason. And because there's so many, and again, I have no problem with any of the board and trains in our area. Don't get me wrong. But there are so many horror stories out there. Again, the most recent one in Raleigh, the woman had 5 dogs in the shed and 4 of them died because the air conditioning shut off. Was that a freak accident? No, that air conditioning was a piece of trash. And those dogs shouldn't have been in a shed in crates that were 2 times too small for them. There was another one in Florida. The same thing happened. But this was a very reputable place, and they lost power, and their backup didn't kick in for whatever reason. And a whole bunch of dogs died from the heat. Just not, I don't know. Just like I wouldn't board my dog somewhere where somebody wasn't there overnight.
Oh,
it's
absolutely.
Just personal.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I have started a new program because I have watched a lot of my students with the walking really just lose their minds when, I'm just watching out the door for him, lose their minds when it comes to trying to teach their dogs how to walk. And a lot of them are those high energy working dogs. Yes. And it's almost like the light bulb has not gone off yet. What's going on? And so I recently had a student who I showed up at Lowe's, and my class is standing outside. And I was like, what's going on? And I saw one of my students taking a beeline for her car. And I was like, what's going on? And they're like, we don't know. She was just really screaming at him inside the store. So I was like, that's not like her. So I went to her car. She's crying. And I'm like, are you okay? She's, I had the worst day and I cannot deal with him. Because her dog, very super crazy high energy, only 9 months old, just loves other dogs, loves people, and was like ripping her arm out of her socket. And when you lose your patience, like that's not helping the dog at all. And so I sent her home and I said, we're going to switch to privates. I'm going to meet you here, whichever day is like a month and a half ago. So I met her at Lowe's and I had her sit in the outdoor furniture right in front of the store, when you first walk in. And I took him for 30 minutes and walked him around the store. My patient never thins when it comes to a dog I'm training. It just doesn't. Because I know that I'm teaching him. He's learning. It's taking him a little bit. Never learned algebra or geometry or any of that because it would have taken me too long because I don't have that brain for math. I know he's excited. By the time we were done with that half an hour, was he walking perfect? No. Was he walking better? Yes. Did he lower his feet instead of jumping on people? Yes. By the 3rd session, she brought him back to the beginner 2 class and he walked like a champ through Lowe's. Because I worked twice with him and then she worked with him in between because he tested her and realized, oh, this is what Jer was doing too. And I wasn't allowed to do it then, like with Baxter, with you and Steve. Okay. And so he went off to hunting camp because he's a hunting dog. So he's at hunting camp right now. And I thought to myself, she was really upset. And again, with the patient, she just didn't have it for the dog. And most people that get dogs like that, they have a backyard. I have a nice backyard. I don't walk Colt. Does he walk nice on a leash? He does. But I don't walk him. I'm going to walk him when it's 95 degrees outside.
Same.
So when you have a dog that's on a leash and you have a backyard, take the time to teach that.
Yeah.
But you have to take them out of your house at some point. And when you do, that's when your frustration builds. And that's when your patience goes away because now they're walking horribly, but you didn't take the time to do it.
Right.
So I said, I'm going to do this program where I come to your home and I walk your dog. You don't come with me. I give your dog a walk and a loose leash lesson at the same time. So they get a 30-minute walk with me and I'm training them at the same time. And you have to do it Monday through Friday, 5 days in a row. And then Friday, you walk with me. And I show you for 30 minutes everything that I did all week. And now you have to follow through with it. If you need me to come back, I'm happy to come back. But after 5 days, I shouldn't need to come back. And you. Yes, can you get on? Thank you. Sorry, the kitten's climbing the curtains.
What's not need to figure it out? That's what happens when you enter the curtain.
She talks to her animals the way I used to talk to my kids. If you didn't do it, that wouldn't happen.
This is Ash.
Ash.
Say hi, I'm a climber. I climb the curtains. Okay, don't jump from this high. You're too little to jump from this high. Hold on. Okay. Oh.
Okay, Geralyn, we've only got a couple more minutes left.
Okay.
So as we wrap up, here's a parting question for you.
Sure.
A family, a person wants to get a dog. What are 3, 4, 5? What are some key things you want them to think about or ask themselves before they make this what is supposed to be a dog's lifetime commitment?
First, and this is going to sound weird, but what are their grooming requirements?
Oh.
That's the first question. And here's why. Doodles are super popular. And I love all my doodles that come into class. But they have to be brushed every single day. Shaving them is not good for them. You have to brush them every single day. They have to go to the groomer every 6 weeks or so. Their nails have to be cut. And this is all dogs every 2 weeks. Are you going to do that grooming routine? If I didn't brush Colt, his hair would be horrible. Lambs. Baxter and Josie probably shed more than Colt does.
Probably.
Yeah.
Josie,
so
definitely.
That would be my first thing. Are you prepared? Because, I have a non-shedder. That's great. But your non-shedder is more grooming maintenance than my shedder. So people aren't prepared for that. Number 2, find a dog that fits your lifestyle. If you're a couch potato, you get an English Bulldog or a Greyhound Rescue or something like a Shih Tzu that's going to sit on your lap and watch television with you. Are you a runner? Get a lab. Get a husky. Go to the shelter and get a dog. You know what I mean? If you're active, pretty much any dog would be good for you. Except like an English Bulldog where if you took them for a walk in the seat, they go and fall over and die. Funny, but it happens. So if you're a renter, check your lease first. Check your homeowner's insurance. Are you allowed to have a bully breed in your home? There are plenty of times that people leave FHS with a pit bull and 20 minutes later, they come back because the landlord saw them and said, oh no, that's one of the dogs on our list. So you check your leases, check your homeowner's insurance, make sure that dog is covered. By the way, State Farm doesn't care what kind of dog you have. Do you have a fence? Are you capable of making that fence non-escapable if you bring a husky home? Read about these breeds. Read about them. If you go to the shelter and you see a dog that you absolutely love, ask the staff about them. If they don't know anything, they're not going to know anything. But there's a lot of foster to adopt programs out there where you can find out if the dog is good for your home or not. There are certain breeds that like to eat cats. So if you have cats, bringing a husky home probably isn't the best idea. Okay? Do you have children in your home? That's another concern. Are you going to bring home a dog that was found on the side of the road that has no history
Right.
into your home with a toddler. And I'm not trying to deter anybody from rescuing, but this is a major concern when you bring a dog home, and not to get puppies bite too. Puppies are worse than any dog.
But there's a difference between puppy
Yes.
nipping and
Right.
the dog that was in my house that was my sister's for a while. I don't know if you remember how, I mean, he was resource. What's the word?
Resource guarding.
Yeah, he was, and it was
Bad. And if a child doesn't know that, you're creating a situation where a tragedy is going to happen.
absolutely.
So definitely grooming, definitely finding the dog that fits your lifestyle. Read about a breed. If you're looking for a breeder, you call me and I'll help you find one, a reputable one, not some that you're going to get. If you saw Samoyed like colt for $100, you need to run the other way because there's something wrong with that dog. You know what I mean? Go to the shelter, hang out with the dog. Go there and hang out with them. Take them out for a dog day out and get to know them. How high is their energy? There's so many, Kristen. I could talk for an hour on what qualifications you would look for. But the main thing is investigating the dog that you're looking for.
Right. Don't just get a burr up your butt and go, let's go get a dog. And
Don't
a
go
lot
to
of people
Friendly
do
Pets.
that. Yeah, and a lot of people
Don't
do
go to
that.
Friendly Pets and see the really cute puppy and buy it because you're supporting a puppy mill.
Right.
You know, there are so many backyard breeders and so many puppy mills out there that we need to stop, which is a whole other subject. Don't put that in about Friendly Pets. I don't want them coming after me, if you don't mind. But you really need to research the dog that you're looking for, especially if it's a purebred and you can read about it. But if you need help finding a home or a dog that fits your home and fits your lifestyle and stuff, give me a call. I'm happy to help. I love to do stuff. like that.
She does.
And I have a lot of I have a lot of dogs in my class, so I have good breeders. If I needed to send you to a breeder. And of course, I work out of the Forsyth Humane Society. So I know those dogs. There were 3 beautiful dogs tonight at the paw crawl at Brewery Du Bois. Gracie, Sarah, and I can't think of what the third one's name is. But man, they are awesome. They loved other dogs. They loved the kids there, the people. So I'm giving FHS a plug. So if you're looking for a dog, go check them out. They have some really cute dogs right now. And they have a litter of 4 puppies that are adorable.
No.
Yeah. If you're not sure and you saw this dog, you ask the staff there. They're happy to look up where the dog came from or if there's any information about them. These guys know that dog the best. So they're going to help you find that dog out there that's going to help you. And then you come to training with me for free. When you adopt from the Humane Society, you get 3 free sessions with me.
And
so
it's
you get
worth
them
it.
off on the right start.
Mm-hmm. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm so glad
Absolutely.
it was like towards the last minute. We'll hang on for 1 second. But to sign off with everybody else, I hope you have a great day. I hope you have a great night. And coming in on the 4th, I hope everybody does smart stuff and keep your dogs inside.
Inside. Yes,
For the
please.
4th of July. So till the next time, everybody, thanks for listening. Thanks, Geralyn. And
Absolutely.
we'll see you later. As the saying goes, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And that's a wrap for this week's episode. A big thanks to my guests for sharing their story and to you for listening. Don't forget to share the show with your friends and spread the words. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, the link is in the show notes. Till next time, cheers.